Say something, I'm back for to it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you always watch for real.
Atlanta is back on its bullshit. After the complete failure that was the YSL trial, the city of Atlanta has now targeted Lil Baby, and the accusations are deadly. The Atlanta Police Homicide Commander would go as far as blaming Lil Baby for the double murder of two teens and connect him to a long, bloody series of violent events. So in this video, we'll be covering the Lil Baby 4PF Rico that never happened. May 14th, 2024.
I told y'all, bruh.
Dominique Jones,
I tell people all the time, dog. Y'all crews, we're gonna get you locked up.
To shoot a music video. The location, Dixie Hills. This was Zone 1, West Atlanta, at the very beginning of the old Hidden Village apartments. A mostly abandoned, half torn down apartment complex with a violent history that even Google Earth will show you is still very much the hood. And apparently,
that's crazy.
It was a hood Lil Baby wasn't supposed to be in. They began filming the music video with a whole production crew present when gunfire erupted. Atlanta police received calls just before 5 p.m. stating multiple people had been shot, and when they arrived on scene, they located a 24-year-old man shot in the arm and a 27-year-old man shot in the back. The victims were alert, conscious, and breathing. A 23-year-old man who couldn't wait for police was driven to the hospital with a gunshot to the neck. He too would survive.
Damn.
Tonight at 11, police are working to try to find out who opened fire on the set of a music video reportedly featuring Atlanta's very own Lil Baby.
The shooting happened just before 5 o'clock tonight. There is a map right here on your screen of where this all took place on Forbidden.
I don't think about this though, cause I heard like people trying to blame him for the situation. Mind you, yes, if this is a hood that he should not have been in, yes, you shouldn't have been there. But also, these people didn't have to come to the video shoot. They needed to have to come stand around and look at what's going on. Just like he knows that this is the hood, they know that that is the hood too. Why are you standing outside when you know something can happen, especially when you already know a lot of rappers have a target on their back? Both people is wrong. Sorry, hey, we gotta be honest. Just again, if he's in a place where he know he shouldn't be in, you probably know he shouldn't be there, and you still stood around.
Street.
Being honest.
The Dixie Hills neighborhood in the northwest part of the city.
Baby just pulled up on us. You know, we doing it big around this mug.
Chaos in this parking lot.
We had multiple individuals flee the scene subsequent to the shooting,
leaving a trail of evidence scattered across the crime scene.
We just heard pow, pow, pow. And that thing was and we grabbed the kids and everybody was just running. It was a whole bunch of chaos.
Atlanta PD would note the attack appeared to be an isolated and targeted incident. But this shooting would intensify an already deadly feud between two rival gangs in the city. The Goodfellas is one of Atlanta's longest lasting gangs, having formed back in the early 2000s by Abdullah Williamson. The gang is alleged to have formed in the Rice Street jail, later becoming primarily a prison gang with a reputation for warring with the Bloods that dominate the Georgia prison system. Abdullah, or Lil Duel, is currently serving a life sentence. His alleged second-in-command, Johnny McClendon, is also serving a life sentence after allegedly ordering a hit on one of their own members. That man would be released from prison, only to be murdered days later. The Goodfellas made it happen on the streets and behind the wall. With influence from the Italian Mafia, the Goodfellas would go by other names such as the Mob, La Familia, or La Cosa Nostra. But this wasn't
I've heard that in the song before.
Nor did it operate like the Mafia. This was a homegrown Georgia prison gang that was out for blood. OMF, or Only My Family, was a younger subset of the Goodfellas based out of West Atlanta and primarily located within Dixie Hills. This was the same area the music video shootout happened. 4PF, or Four Pockets Full, is a money gang based out of the Oakland City neighborhood of Southwest Atlanta. 4PF is exactly what they claim to be, a money gang. known less for violence and more for funds, but made famous by none other than Lil Baby. They aren't exactly innocent though, or at least that's what the streets allege. Apparently, OMF believes 4PF is responsible for the 2021 shooting of 19-year-old Marcus Holland, who is known as Big Mark. A member of OMF, he'd be gunned down at a Shell gas station, and his grave would literally read, "Gravedigger." Atlanta police believe Lil Baby was shooting a music video in a rival hood, knowing what could happen, and it did. OMF allegedly shot it up for Mark. On Instagram, Mark went by the name 2500 Mark, and 2500 stood for the block, as 2500 Center Street was the heart of the Etheridge Court projects. This was home to Mark, and was immediately targeted after Lil Baby's video shoot was shot up.
Damn.
On May 18, 2024,
that was dumb, bro. Why would you go over there?
Shooting, Atlanta police responded to the projects at 2 a.m., finding 21-year-old Nasia Cox shot dead. She'd been killed in the passenger seat of a vehicle while her child sat in the back seat.
Oh, hell no.
Investigators believe 4PF acted in revenge, targeting OMF in one of their projects, and the female was just a casualty of war. The following month, 31-year-old OMF member Trevante Turner was found at 3 a.m. shot to death in an apartment. His cousin Keontae Sanders, who was known within OMF as Midnight, was incarcerated at Hancock State Prison at the time. Investigators would learn he was coordinating revenge against 4PF members through phone calls and social media. Investigators recovered extensive conversations with multiple OMF members, planning retaliation on John Smith, who was known as 4PF J-Shot, a close associate of Lil Baby's, who investigators listed as a gang leader. OMF believed J-Shot is the one who killed Trevante in the apartment. On July 2nd, 2024, OMF would strike. It was 12:34 a.m. when Atlanta PD responded to the West End apartments in Oakland City, the heart of 4PF territory. They'd find 13-year-old Lamont Freeman dead at the scene, 13-year-old Jacody Davis in critical condition, and 11-year-old Dontavius Davis with a gunshot to the foot. Jacody Davis would die at the hospital. Investigators will learn the Davis brothers had left their apartment just before midnight to wish Lamont a happy birthday when they were.
I feel like when people slide, bro, and you end up hitting a kid, you should automatically go turn yourself in. Don't, because most of the time, that same person who did that will be out on the street acting like they're the toughest person ever because they know that I caught a body. You caught a kid, bro. An innocent kid at that.
Ambushed. Surveillance footage from multiple locations spotted two vehicles that circled the apartment complex twice before 6 armed individuals got out and opened fire. Multiple shell casings were left at the scene from 5.56, 7.62 to 2.23. Lamont was found with a gunshot to the head, while Jacody was shot repeatedly in the chest. 7 members of OMF / the Goodfellas would be arrested, including Keontae Sanders, the cousin of Trevante, who was planning revenge from prison. It's alleged OMF were hunting 4PF members and ended up jumping out and gunning down kids with rifles. So here's the twist.
That's crazy.
Atlanta's homicide commander would blame Lil Baby for causing this shooting.
Major Ralph Woolfolk of the Violent Crime Interdiction Section. And I first want to say the overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster that left 2 of our children in graves and a community in fear. Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life.
That's crazy.
Cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days,
see, when I was speaking at first, the way how it was said on the internet was he shot the video shoot and 2 people got shot right there. Not some people. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy, dog. That's why I be saying people in general, like, bro, for the most part, when it comes to sliding, right, you don't know what you're doing. You're getting lucky. Yes, it might sound crazy saying luck when this is something negative, and then there be so much of it. But honestly, that's what it is. Niggas don't know how to aim. Niggas just get lucky. That's what it is. You shot so many. That's why they shoot so many. You shoot so many because you're hoping that 1 or 2 are going to hit. That's it, and that's what happens. And that's how innocent people get hit. When professional people come through and do their thing, even though we see it in movies, they hit the exact person that they came to hit and nobody else.
We saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result
bro,
of his
that's
cowardly
sad.
actions. And you know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions.
Ralph Woolfolk would claim because Lil Baby shot a music video in a place he shouldn't have been, he caused a chain reaction of violence that resulted in Nasia being killed in front of her kid, Trevante being killed in an apartment, and 2 teens being gunned down with rifles. So why haven't charges been filed?
Because
the accusations
really can't.
are bullshit, and it's easier to place blame on a multi-millionaire Grammy Award-winning artist than on the police who failed to put away the same men carrying out these murders. Not one gun has Lil Baby's prints, and I highly doubt he's planning murders while on tour because in all honesty, it doesn't sound like 4PF has been taking losses. It sounds like OMF has been losing back-to-back members. So why the fuck would Lil Baby feel the need to even be involved? On March 31st, 2025, a preliminary hearing was held to determine whether there was enough evidence for the teen's killers to stand trial. Atlanta's gang detective Marissa Veverito testified that investigators used social media, wiretaps, ballistics, surveillance, and interviews with informants to build the case against the 7 members of OMF/Goodfellas. Veverito wished to remain anonymous as she worked undercover, but her identity was revealed online. While on the stand,
That's why I wouldn't be no undercover, bro. It's either full-fledged or not.
Involvement in several murder-for-hire plots.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's going on? Man, like, come on, bro. You know what's finna go on. Like, how the hell you can, you know what I'm saying? They ain't even like that, man. Them got tickets on a lot of these folks, I'm telling you.
We just heard somebody say these folks got tickets on these people. We know what's going on. First of all, who was that said that about the tickets?
Unc, the unidentified male that was being referred to as Unc.
And he's speaking with Mr. Sanders?
Correct.
And what, in your experience, do you know what tickets are?
A price on somebody's head.
What do you mean by it? What do you mean on somebody's head? What is that?
Like a bounty.
Okay. To have them arrested?
Harmed. Or
and who were they referring to in that portion of the call?
They were saying that they had heard that Dominique Jones had tickets on a lot of people's heads.
Dominique Jones had wanted to have people harmed.
Correct.
The audio would be played in court.
That's crazy, boy.
Members admitting Lil Baby was
I don't think about it though. It can be fake, but then again, they have people who can detect if it's fake or not. So that's the only thing about that too, though.
Motherfuckers. This was OMF/Goodfellas members under wiretap talking about Lil Baby, which doesn't prove shit. Of course, they're gonna blame the richest man claiming 4PF, but that doesn't mean Lil Baby did a damn thing. And that's exactly why to this day, he hasn't been charged.
Yeah,
was the same.
I think, cause like a year ago, probably like 2 years ago, time be flying by the mug now. But like 2 years ago, probably 3 years ago, it was like this post that went viral, and it was saying like a list of rap crews or whatever that was supposed to be started getting hit with Ricos. I think when that thing came out, even though anything be faked on the internet, I think when that came out, little bit. Mind you, he probably was already moving smart. I think because if recently that's when he dismantled 4PF. I think somebody asked him about it. He said there ain't no more 4PF. That's why I don't think he even wears a chain anymore. I think it's the Wham and the Baby chain. I don't think I've seen the 4PF chain in a minute. But I've heard that he dismantled it. So therefore, like, bro, I think he was he was already moving smart. When that thing came out, he probably like, yes, it's officially over. Because I said it all the time. When it comes to your crews, right? If your crew, if you have a crew, right, and your crew is beefing with the other crew, law is they're not gonna see a crew. They're gonna see a gang. Forget the crew part. You're a gang. You're beefing with people too. You're a gang. And then especially when you have a multi-millionaire, the thing that his money, they gonna say his money is being used to benefit the gang. So the things that the gang is doing, they say, hey, it could be 15 people all from different places of the world, whatever, but they repping your crew. Repping your crew. This person does something to somebody else. They gonna say that he did that to the benefit of your crew, and you paid him to do
it. Gang expert in the YSL trial.
He's smart, y'all.
And
I
young
say this all the time.
Almost have his probation revoked after calling her the biggest liar in the DA office. A judge would decline violating Young Thug for his free speech. All in all, the 4PF Rico is nothing more than a myth, as Fulton County's DA office is looking to make a comeback after the YSL failure. The fact that police blame Lil Baby for 7 grown men making the decision to shoot kids with rifles is ridiculous.
And we'll try it though. And we'll try.
Lil Baby would take the Instagram to reply only saying, "Thanks for all the concern. Please don't be misinformed by fake news. I'm overly good." And let's not forget, Lil Baby has powerhouse attorney Drew Finley behind him, the same man representing Lil Durk that also represented NBA Youngboy. It's safe to say the Atlanta DA doesn't want those problems. Now, for a while, everybody has been wondering about this 4PF Lil Baby Rico indictment that's supposed to be coming. And in my opinion, I don't think it ever is, because it's literally hearsay. You have opposing gang members saying that Lil Baby's putting bounties on people.
Gotta be able to prove that though.
Because he's the one with the money, right? So it's the equivalent of Dirk's ops saying he's the one putting money on people. But in Dirk's case, that isn't it. People in Dirk's camp are the ones, snitching, saying shit like that. So as far as this Lil Baby case, those wiretaps mean nothing. The homicide commander blaming him for everything that happened, I don't agree with. You can't control what people are gonna do. And what doesn't make sense to me is, why would you shoot a high production music video in rival gang territory? Like, if you're gonna do something in rival territory, you think that you would just do it with a cameraman and a bunch of your...
Because the person might think, if I do it high production, is less chances of it getting shot at. People might think, oh, no, like, this is good for the hood. And no, nigga, the op is in the hood shooting video. Hell no, nigga. What are you doing?
They had a whole fucking trailer there. They got a whole bunch of people that work real jobs, like sound engineers, cameramans. Why would you bring all of them into a situation with something?
Why are you putting them at risk like that?
That to me doesn't make any sense. Which in my mind just pushes the narrative that he wasn't thinking about any enemies or people sliding on him, or he didn't have any ill intent being there.
Yeah, but still, Jake, you got street ties too, my boy. You know that if you go to your opposite, whether you're doing a high production thing, you're shooting a movie, you didn't check in, as they say. How you gonna check into the ops hood? No, bro. No. High production team or not, if this is a place that you're not supposed to be in. This is somebody else's territory. You're from the other side. No, bro. That's still public. That's like a public dish still, especially when it goes viral and people see it. Like what y'all let Whoop Whoop shoot a whole music video in the hood? That's what I'm gonna say. Hell nah.
Doing that music video. But it resulted in a shooting, and nothing actually says he was one of the people that was shot at. It was just a shooting. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments. Do you think the DA is reaching? They're trying to, get their reputation back after what happened with YSL? Or do you think they actually have...
No, I think it's gonna always go like that for anybody, for any artist, especially rap artists, because most rap artists have street ties. So therefore, for any of them, if they shoot a music video anywhere and something happens to anybody, they gonna blame them for it. You shot this music video and this happened because of you. And that's what the law is gonna always do. Especially when they took the L that police department took. They for sure trying to make a comeback.